Alan Hyatt's Lee.
Hi, Lee. I just got your email about the roads and right-of-way agenda. I think what it is that it's the same week to week, or at least it's been anyway.
Yes. By the way, your video is not on.
Oh, wait a minute. Start video. There we go.
Hello.
Hi.
So the other email was, of course, Leslie Forbes is elected not to re-up.
Exactly.
I'm at a loss except to say that we need somebody from Manicat other than Bill.
Yeah.
Although
Good idea. Maybe I should call Bill and see who he might recommend from out
I
there.
think that's a good idea.
Yeah, because he certainly is in touch with all the folks out there. So
Yeah.
he would, yeah. I've been trying to think about it and see who would be good. But yeah.
Leslie can be very close about what it is she chooses to do. She is a member of the scholarship committee and is coming back on. Here's Fran.
Let me get a better chair.
Go right ahead. Make yourself comfy. Fran, we can see that you're signed on, but we can't see that you're connected.
Oh, okay. There I am.
There you are. Hi there. I'll just make some notes while I'm thinking about it.
Hi, Fran.
Hi.
So for the record, we have a quorum, but let's that's another minute or two to go.
Right. Scotty, I got an email from Scotty saying he would not be able to attend today.
I saw Barbara at a reception, so I know she's back on island. I'm sure she'll be with us in a minute.
Yeah.
She sometimes seems to have to take an extra couple of minutes to get on board with Zoom. I don't exactly know why.
Well, I had that problem, seems like early on. I'd push what I thought was the right button and that didn't work. So I'd have to go to Zoom and put in whatever the codes were and the password and all that sort of stuff. But,
Eric Maloney is warning us that we may go back live sometime next month.
Right. Yeah, I got the same email, and she will let us know. She's trying to figure out where people can meet. Now, it shouldn't be any problem for us because we've met out at the DPW at their conference room, and I assume that that's going to still work. But yeah. We had a land bank meeting last night, and it was the first time that we met in person, since this all began, and it was kind of fun.
Alan, were you able to get the invitation to Ken?
Yes.
Okay, good.
And after our meeting yesterday out at the cemetery, I walked back in. I was trying to pace off. It was kind of hard to pace because it was a lot of cat briar back there. Just to sort of get the lay of the land.
Did anybody glare at you?
No, actually, Lee and I met with Ken Bogrand and Rick Bodette, who is the attorney who represented the Hicks. and we discussed what it is that the Hicks were looking for and their proposal. And let's see, that is on our agenda, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, Pulpus Cemetery.
Since we have a quorum, why don't we wait? By the way, I suddenly realized that I was talking about other people while the recording is going.
Oh, wait a minute. You know what? Hang on a minute. Let me, oops. Can you hear me?
Yes, you're
Okay.
good.
Yeah, I'm just checking to make sure I sent Ken the right email. Let's see, sent. Leslie, Ken Bogran, Pulpus. Huh.
I don't see Isabel either.
Oh. Oh
Or-
dear.
Uh-oh.
Would you like me to call Barbara and see? I can
That
just
would
give
be
a phone
helpful.
call.
That would be very helpful. Yes, thank you, Fran.
Okay.
Yeah, I just sent Ken. Oh, there's Ken.
I had a real tough time logging in on, had to reconnect completely with respect to Zoom.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Ah, how did you do it?
Just got in and said he'd had a really hard time.
The email that you sent this morning didn't work. And so I went back to Lee's email about a week ago or so to be able to come in that way. And I had to re-enter all of my stuff into
Okay.
Zoom.
Friends, Barbara's on the phone and she says she has been trying for 10 minutes to get on. What can we do for her?
Good question.
Barbara, do you have that message that went out last week from Hannah Nicole? Because I got in on that. Yeah,
Are you in the meeting?
Oh.
right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
All right, let me,
I see that Rob McNeil is in here as well.
right.
Hey, Rob, hi. And somehow Zoom wanted to sign me up twice, so forget town committee. I'm on as Lee Saperstein.
Stay with me. Barbara keeps getting told she's not authorized.
Yeah, that's a message I got too. And you have to enter your email address and your password.
Okay. he
And
said-
if you don't know your password, say you forget your password, and they will email it to your email address. And then you can, then you can go in again and reconnect.
Good afternoon, Lee. Did you sign in twice so we could have a quorum? Was that what happened?
Well, we do have a quorum, but we're trying to get Barbara White, our fourth member.
Right, we seem to have some problem with the connection. Ken had a problem signing in too,
Yeah,
off the agenda this morning,
yeah.
or whatever.
It says it's the wrong email. It doesn't say it's the wrong password.
Alan, do you want to start on the routine stuff like acknowledging that there are no public comments?
Okay, I'm just trying to think of how to get Barbara.
Yeah, Barbara's sort of staying on the phone for the moment. Ken said when he got on, he put in his email address and then it asked for a password. And he clicked forgot password and they emailed him one and then he got in.
Yeah, they email you the opportunity to create a new password.
Okay, I'm so sorry you're having such frustrating time. Yeah. No, I don't think it's a problem with Zoom per se. I did a Zoom meeting this morning at 11, but it's something that we seem to run into with this particular meeting. Alan says he often has a lot of trouble too.
I do have the meeting ID number, if that's any help for Barbara.
Can you hear what Alan's saying?
Yeah, you'll need a password as well if you use the number.
Yeah, and I don't have all right, well, the meeting ID is 839-3303-1581.
Yeah, because Scotty is away, we don't have a quorum unless we can get you aboard.
We do have a quorum if there's Alan, Lee, and Franz.
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna say goodbye to you and hope you can get on. Bye.
Hello,
She's going to keep trying.
Hello.
who's posing as town committee?
I am Vanessa. I do work at the DPW in the space of Hannah /
hi.
Isabel today.
Yeah,
Can you
right.
help us- Can you help us out? Member
So
Barbara
friends,
White hasn't been able to get on and she's very frustrated and we need her for a quorum.
Can you send her a
understood.
new
Actually,
invitation?
we have a quorum, but we're
Hannah
glad
just
to have
responded to her email.
Mhm.
her. Vanessa,
He had
remind
sent an
me,
email as well.
Okay.
Say that again, Lee?
your surname, is it Williams?
Yes.
Right.
Vanessa, can you send a new invitation to her?
So Hannah just responded to her email. She had just emailed Hannah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, all right. All right, let's,
Well, here we are.
I apologize for this. I mean, anyway. All right.
That's okay. That's
almost feel
okay,
like-
Alan. I've stumbled over my feet many a time.
Yeah, I know. Let me call the meeting of the Cemetery Commission to order for June 9th. And I declare we have a quorum. Okay, first item, public comment. I don't see any public, any commission comments before we begin. Seeing none, next item, approval of minutes from May 12th. Those minutes were circulated last month. And I would entertain a motion to approve those minutes.
I make the motion to approve the May 12th meeting minutes.
Okay, and
With just three of us, I will second.
great, thank you.
We're all in favor.
No, we're gonna have to roll call.
Yeah, well,
Okay. Roll call, for the approval of the minutes, Lee,
Aye.
Fran,
aye.
and chair votes aye. Okay, those minutes are approved. Lot sales since the last meeting. Vanessa, do you have those?
Hey, hello, Ellen. I do have an application that was received. So give me one moment.
Okay, let's, do you have the application there?
Vanessa, you're on mute.
Yeah, sorry. I do have it, but I'm just logging in here. So give me a second, or you can get back to me in just a moment.
Looks like Barbara White just got on.
Yeah, I say Barbara.
Yay.
Dasha, do you need help pulling that application?
Okay, let's move on to,
Put in a password.
yeah, let's move on to the next item. And
Do it.
oh, wait a minute, this. What's going on here? Okay, let's move on to the next item and we'll come back to that lot. If not, I can look up. I can look it up if you can't find it there. Hi, Barbara. Welcome.
Alan, if I may, just very quickly interrupt. Vanessa, once you find that, if you could send it, all the information to me, particularly if it comes after the meeting, so that I can get it into the minutes.
Sorry, Mom.
Of course. Yes, I have it now. Thank
Okay,
you.
hi, Barbara.
But I will forward it to you, the group.
Right.
We received one from Joan Alba for lot F26.
Okay. Right. Joan Elba, ALB.
AUGH.
Yes,
And did I hear F as in Frank
yes,
and the number?
26.
Vanessa, thank you.
Right.
You are
Okay.
welcome. We also did receive another in card form. They did not fill out the application. And I'm wondering if you spoke with this person. It's Mary Burnell. I think that's, she hand wrote a note for,
Great.
and provided payment for lot D as in dog 13.
Right. We approved that, I believe, last month at our meeting at that point.
What was the surname? Mary what?
Burnell, it looks like.
BRUNELL.
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna spell back. P, A as in apple, RNELL.
No, B.
B as in
Yeah.
boy. Yes. Thank you, Alan.
And then what? ERNELL?
You,
BU,
No, BRUNELL. Right? Or is it BUR?
BURNELL.
Okay, BURNELL.
Yes.
All right.
but that, as I say, believe we approved that one last month.
Okay.
I don't recall the name. Let's deal with the Joan Alba
Okay,
application. Lee moves approval.
is there a second?
I second.
Great, thank you.
Who was that, Barbara?
Yeah, Barbara and Fran both, so. Okay, so we have lot approval. I did meet with Joan up at the cemetery a week or so ago. And she, I showed her the lots that were available, and that was the lot that she chose. She's a local artist, by the way, and you've probably seen her work around. So we have a motion to approve the lot sale to Joan Albaugh for lot, whatever it was,
F26.
F26, thank you. All in favor? We'll do it by roll call. Lee,
Aye.
Fran,
Aye.
Barbara,
Aye.
and chair votes aye. So that lot sale is approved. So Vanessa, you can go ahead and send out whatever the documentation that goes with that approval. And then she'll send the check. I did explain to her the process that we use. And I told her that she'd be notified by the DPW. And at that point, she could send a check and then she would get the form for the.
She already did.
Oh, she already did?
She sent a check.
Oh, great. Well, I guess I didn't explain very clearly, but.
Okay.
Yes.
Alan, as chair, can we reconfirm the Mary Burnell status? What does Vanessa have?
I'm sending that over right now so you can take a look for yourselves. I'm sending an email with the note. And that person sent a check as well.
Yeah, I think when Mary Burnell, after we approved her lot, she was going to send it. Yeah, her lot was D13.
Okay. Thank you all.
Okay, and F26, correct, is Joan Albaugh. Good. Okay, onward. Onward and upward. Next item is Pulpa Cemetery. And, wait a minute. Yeah, Pulpa Cemetery. Lee and I met with Ken Bogrand and Rick Bodette, the attorney for the Hicks, yesterday out at Pulpa Cemetery. And we had a proposal from the Hicks as to an area that they were willing to trade. Now, correct me if I misstate anything, Ken. What we didn't have were the dimensions and the square footage, so there's still some details that need to be worked out. But I think the key thing is the area that that we're discussing. It is in the, if you remember the cemetery, the layout of the cemetery, if you go along the fence that exists between the cemetery and Swain's Neck to the west, you go up to that corner, you go inland up to the corner, and that is the northern bound of the cemetery. So we're talking about additional square footage that would be in that location. Okay, so it goes roughly halfway up the hill that is there and goes back, and that's where we need to get the square footage to see how many square feet we need. The square footage, as I understand it, has to be approved by town council because it's supposed to be, however they're going to work out the equivalency of those two properties. Yes, Fran?
I have a question. Is that a different location than what we looked at last month's meeting?
Well, the only thing we looked at last month's meeting was the paper map that Lee held up in front of the screen.
Yes,
That is the area, yes. And as I say, I walked back in there after our meeting yesterday to get the lay of the land and so on. And I believe that it is all mostly usable space. Certainly enough space for us to, in terms of the swap, what we're giving away is land right along the Hicks's property, approximately 20 or 21 feet, whatever that square footage works out to be. And that's basically not of use.
Yeah, I'm on a Zoom call for cemetery commission. I'll call you back when we're done.
Right.
All right, thanks, Ed.
So anyway, Fran, yeah, in answer to your question, yes, that is the area. And as I say, when I walk back into the property in that area, yeah, that section there.
Alan, I'm going to speak just a bit because that'll bring the camera to me. That'll bring the camera to me, maybe.
Raise it up higher.
Yeah, you have to, yeah, there you go.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll say something. Lee, we can't really see it unless you hold it up and simultaneously our speaker.
I know I was trying. Let's see whether or not I come up. Am I showing up on your screen?
Yes, now.
Yes.
Okay, so here it is with
Yeah.
the yellow bit to be the part
Raise it higher. Raise
Yeah,
it higher.
and the abutting family says they use that portion of the lot, of their lot, for family things, and they would really, really like to be able to screen and shield with vegetation, which is why they propose this particular.
Lee, you have to raise it up a little bit.
Raise it up higher. Hold it higher.
Yeah,
That's
there,
better. That's it.
right
Yeah.
right
There
there.
you go.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah,
Now I'll keep speaking. Ken, do you want to fill in anything?
Nope. I think that it was a very useful meeting, and I think that Rick and I will be able to work out the terms to be able to comply with what town council says we need to do in terms of area and value.
right. So that is the proposal from the Hicks to resolve this issue. In my view, it basically accomplishes what we set out to do when we proposed this the land transfer. We're exchanging a 20-foot strip of land adjacent to the east boundary of the cemetery, land that we I don't think would ever use for burial plots because of its proximity to it, for additional land that we can use. So as we intended initially, it is a mutually beneficial resolution of this 5-year-long discussion that we've had. So given that, I would, let's say, I guess the way to do this, Ken, and correct me if I'm wrong here, would be to ask for a motion to approve so Ken can go ahead and continue negotiations on the details here. Barbara?
21 feet by what? I mean,
Well,
I
that's-
understand the 21 feet, but how far, how much are we giving them inside the cemetery?
The amount of land is going to be equal to the amount of land that we're getting back.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, it's,
I'd
it's
still like to know approximately, is it?
Well,
5 feet?
on Lee's map, you can see it's color coded on the, Lee, if you can hold your map up again.
Just a minute, Ken.
I see.
Oh, I was hoping to read some dimensions. It's a little bit too small. So we were talking, Ken, out there in the field.
Yeah, and you
This
see
was
where it
about-
says, okay, Barbara, on the right-hand side?
Yep.
That,
This was
that,
about a
that
quarter
darker,
acre
that
or
darker strip
10,000
on the
square feet.
right-hand side.
Okay, and the yellow is what we would be getting.
That's
Right.
correct.
All
Yep.
right, thank you.
And Ken, was that about a quarter acre?
Again, I'm not going to give you any dimensions. I'm not a surveyor.
right, exactly. And when we were meeting with the attorney for the Hicks,
It was about 100 feet by 125 feet, I think, Alan.
Right.
Yeah.
But whatever those dimensions are, will have to be, that's why we have attorneys involved here, because that it's not a simple swap, we give them this and they give them that. There are other, it has to be of equal value, I believe is the
Yep,
question.
as well as equals, as well as the size is less relevant, less important than the value of the parcels that are swapped.
Exactly. And that's what we're waiting for to resolve. But whatever it is, the area will be roughly comparable. Let me.
That is correct.
So with that information, I would entertain a motion to permit Ken to go ahead and continue to the negotiations, signifying that we're in agreement with the concept of the transfer.
I would make that motion to approve Ken going forward with negotiations with the Hickses.
Great. Ken, does that do it for you?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that we're going to come back with a final decision that you guys are going to vote on.
Exactly.
Now what's important is that the concept and the approach is what you're comfortable with, because once I have that, then we can work out the details in terms of the dot the i's and cross the t's.
Excellent. Good.
I can second that.
Thank
Okay.
you, Barbara. I didn't have to remind anybody.
Right. So we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on the motion? Seeing none, roll call. Lee,
Aye.
Fran,
Aye.
Barbara,
Aye.
and chair votes aye. So there we go. Well,
Now here's something for Ken not to remember. An acre is 160 rods square, 43,560 square feet, 640 acres to a square mile. And we're not quite sure where the multiples of the 40s come from, but old Western movies used to have the cattle out in the North 40. So all of that comes back to 125 by 100. Sounds like 12,500 square feet, or approximately a quarter acre.
right.
Right.
So as I say, in my view, this does meet our initial objective in proposing this land swap. We'll be gaining space for additional burial plots at Pulpus in exchange for land that it's doubtful that we would ever use for burial space. And it also meets requirements that the Hicks need as far as clearing up their encroachment and that sort of thing. Okay, is there anything else on that issue? No. Okay, well, it's been a long go of it. I think I circulated to everyone. I went through the minutes over the last 15 years. It was back in 2015 that Mrs. Hicks came to our commission meeting. And it was at that meeting that the proposal was put forward to do a land swap. And In the interim, I did copy all of the references from our very detailed minutes and put them all on several sheets of paper. So we do have a lengthy record of how, how this is proceeded. Okay, so that's it for Pulpus. The Quays Monument, let me just update you with that. The monument has been engraved. I was out at Neil Patterson's Stone Yard the other day and took a look at it. And I think Scotty sent us a photo as well, didn't he, at our last meeting? I vaguely remember seeing a photo of it. Anyway, the stone is completed. Scotty is waiting. They're really slammed out there right now with all the construction work and so on. So as soon as he has a window of opportunity, they will install the stone for us at Pulpus. No, I'm sorry, at Quays Asylum Burial Ground. And again, I was out there over the weekend to Quays. The post I'd put in the ground before was missing again. So I put a stone in place where just sort of a rock. I put it in the ground where the stone is going to go. Scotty said he would let me know when they're going to do it, so I can go out and supervise maybe. And
Then I can write a press release.
And what?
And then I can write a press release to the newspaper.
Oh, yes, right. The press release, exactly. We'll do a press release. And then once things come.
Alan, if you learn when it's going to go in place, you could let us know.
I will.
I believe that under the rules, if we don't discuss any business, we can come and observe.
Yes. Yeah,
And
absolutely.
And then Fran has just said she'll do a press release.
Right. Good. Okay. And then once the stone is in place, the signs are in place. I did speak to oh God, I've forgotten his name again. The sign maker for the town.
Ray Sylvia.
Yeah, Ray Sylvia. I saw him out at Pulpus Cemetery for who was it? Oh, John. John's inurnment on Memorial Day, and I spoke with Ray. He did have the paperwork that he needs as far as the sign, and I told him what the intent was and about the two signs and so on. So I think he's pretty clear with that. So once we get the stone in place, once we get the signs there, simply a cemetery sign or historic cemetery sign with an arrow, and then a second sign in the first parking area there with an arrow to the path. Then we can work on a rededication or a dedication of the stone, however we want to put it.
That's a good one, because otherwise it would sort of be a rededication.
I know, exactly.
But it would be a dedication of the monument.
Exactly.
Wonderful.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it, a monument dedication. So that's all in the works. And as soon as I hear from Scotty, when they plan to put the stone in place, I will let everyone know, and we can, you can convene at our leisure or whatever to get that in place. So we'll be able at that point then to check that one off our list. Okay, anything else on Quays Asylum and the stone? Good.
I do have a question.
Yes. Fran?
Has Scotty painted the Mayacamet Indian burial ground letters on the rock with white monument paint?
Scotty hasn't forgotten about that. He mentioned to me that he has just been so busy, he has not had time to get there, but he has not forgotten about it. And as soon as he has a window of opportunity, he's going to go do that. So
Which cemetery, which rock are we talking about?
Maya Comet Burial Ground. Okay, Ken, is there anything else that you want to chime in on for us?
Absolutely
Okay.
not.
You're free to go, or
Okay.
you're more than welcome to listen to it.
Free to go is nice.
Yeah, I know. Okay. All right. Thank you, Ken. And
Right.
Ken, thank you for all the work you've put into this and dealing with a thorny situation.
Well, we're almost there. So,
I know.
but I'm very encouraged. So
Good.
All
Well,
right.
so am I. So good.
take care.
Okay. Next item, green burials. I called Roberto Santa Maria, the health director, and left a message for him explaining what it is that we're doing. I mentioned green burials and asked him if there were any town regulations regarding the either inurnment of ashes directly or of a green burial with a body that's wrapped in a shroud and perhaps put in some sort of a wooden casket. I haven't heard back from Roberto. Again, he's had a busy winter. So I do expect that I will hear back from him in answer to those questions. And as soon as I have an answer for those, I will convey it to the commission and we can discuss it at a future meeting. Presumably, by our July meeting, we should have some information. Rob, do you have any information in terms of green barrels? The two considerations in our regulations, we have a requirement that ashes need to be in some sort of a container. And the question is that really necessary? We know that there are other, what can you say? People scatter their ashes all the time. At
Sure.
St. Paul's Church, they have not a columbarium, they have a memorial garden. And people are invited to simply scatter ashes in that memorial garden adjacent to the church. So that's one question. Do we need to change our regulation to permit the just putting ashes in the ground? The second thing is the green burial part of it. I understand at the Jewish cemetery that the way that they handle the burials, and again, because of the religious protocols there, they wrap the body in a shroud, I believe with no embalming fluids and that sort of thing, and use a wooden casket and lower that into the ground. I'm not sure. I think I forget where I heard that, but so anyway, are you
So-
aware?
Sure. And so first off, I want to congratulate the commission on taking up green burials and even having multiple discussions about this, considering it and trying to move this really progressive idea forward. I think it's sort of coming back is the way I would portray it.
Right.
And it's, in my opinion, it's really high time that these things be explored for the same reasons that you stated. With for mostly religious reasons, situations that have basically customs and cultures that have developed through the years and practices that are just not sustainable have been allowed to perpetuate. So it's exciting to explore options that are truly sustainable, and green burials are the right way to go, in my opinion. So in my experience, state law allows for quite a bit of latitude in people's choice in burials. The health department certainly is involved, and any expansion of or opening of a new cemetery needs to be approved by the health department. Just something to know. And so beyond that, you know, unless there are specific local regulations restricting from state law, ultimately state law would be the overarching regulations that would serve the burials here in town. I would say if the commission is going in the direction of a inurement of, or a burial of just ash into the ground, entertaining doing a memorial scattering area for any area that, you know, we should take a look at that if that's something the commission wants to do, is identify a scattering area. And that could be at any number of our cemeteries or all of them, because ultimately nothing is actually placed into the ground. It's on top of the ground. So it allows for some flexibility and potential use of grounds that haven't been really utilized for a number of years. So that could open up some possibilities. But as far as just placing things in the ground, we're really looking for things that will ultimately break down and return, you know, dust to dust.
Great.
So, yeah, I'm happy to look into it a little bit more and follow up with Roberto and see what he has to say. And maybe he could be invited along to make a quick report with his findings, if that's appropriate, if he has the time to do that. And I'm happy to reach out and talk to him about it.
Great. Good. Yeah, I know he's been busy, to say the least, over
Sure.
the last couple of months.
So one other thing to point out is the plastic Mackenzie urns that a lot of folks use for ashes to be placed in the ground. Generally, in my experience, what I would say is it's generally for people who aren't quite committed to a permanent burial, where they may want to relocate their loved one's ashes if they move. So it's a way to relocate, recover, and move to a different location. And it's very different because of the transportability of, you know, a small ash case, as opposed to obviously a full burial. Although I have had experience with that, it's very different. So what I have seen and developed with other commissions is basically language that one or a family that is burying ash, straight ash, recognizes upfront that their ability, or the town's ability, to recover those said ashes becomes, you know, impossible, to ensure that you would, you know, gather all the ashes in some future date. So you're basically just limiting any kind of expectation or liability moving forward.
That's a great point. Never occurred to me that, yeah. So it sounds as though we need to make a change in our regulations as far as the requirement that ashes need to be in some sort of a container. Basically, as I've been,
Are you saying, Alan, that that currently it reads that they are required to put in a hard container?
I believe that's the case. I have to confess, I haven't,
Yes, that is correct.
Okay.
Our regulations were picked up probably wholesale from another town,
correctly.
and
Yeah,
they do include coffins and vaults.
right, right. Yeah, we did have our regulations when we were formed. We had to, of course, have regulations. The regulations that we did adopt, I think it was from primarily from over on the Cape. I forget which cemetery it was over there, but we looked at a number of different sets of regulations, picked those, and had them reviewed by town council just to sign off on them. So anyway, we'll check that. And if we, in order to make that change in our regulations, we do have to have a public hearing, which we can, that's not a big deal. I mean, we can do that. But in the meantime, the idea of a memorial area in each of the cemeteries, I think, is a great idea. As I say, they do it at St. Paul's. They have a memorial garden there. And, they have a service or whatever they want to do, and then the ashes are spread on the ground. That's something that I hadn't considered. Now, if we did that, we can't really charge people $900 or whatever. And of course, there wouldn't be a need, because the whole idea is that instead of using space in the ground, we're not in the real estate business, so to speak. So that would, well, I guess we are in the real estate business essentially, in that we're selling plots in various cemeteries. Now, with regard to that, I think that's something we may want to consider. Yes, Lee?
I think I'm getting ahead of myself here, but should we choose to do that, we need to consult landscapers so that it would be mower free.
It would be what free?
Mowing.
Mower free.
Yeah, Rob?
Sure. So again, just going back, I think the idea of charging for scattering at the memorial ground is appropriate. And it's because they are able to use the grounds. And it is recognized as a different way to utilize the grounds, that they are under the rights to bury when they are granted those rights by the commission.
Right.
However, maybe the commission would consider a different price scheme for that. And then the other thing, most people are really interested in memorialization in some way.
Mhm.
And we've talked about this very briefly before. I would offer that the commission explore with the department and maybe with IT, a method to be able to, similar to what we all strive for in the end, is records, good record keeping
Exactly.
of the previous burials.
Right.
I think we could certainly start a modern approach to memorialization, or at least solid record keeping regarding a ash scattering area for a memorial garden. So they would be paying essentially for the town to record and memorialize that act on that day, or for that person.
Right.
And so we would be able to maintain a record that the person's ashes were scattered at Memorial Garden at this particular cemetery on this day. And I think that's what people would expect, and that's ultimately the service, in addition to the physicalness to go to. That's the service that they ultimately pay for, and that's something that just gets launched and housed on a website or web page and updated as needed.
Wow, great idea. Barbara?
Yeah, Rob, I really like the idea. When you say garden, are we talking about like a rose garden? Are we talking about flowers? And how big a space would, say at Pulpus or any of the cemeteries that we have open? I mean, seems like even cemeteries we don't have open could have
Yeah,
there could be a
Exactly.
space for this, people who want to be at Newtown, we don't have it open yet, but there probably are spaces we could figure out.
Sure.
So what are you talking in, say, a 20 by 20 foot? What plot are you thinking?
I would say that it would make sense to probably visit a few. And as Alan has said, there's some already here on island. But when people are off, or even it's possible to check online for some sources, just to see what others have done. I'm sure it varies all over the map, like anything else, from very basic to very extravagant. And we could come to a conclusion together.
Thank you.
great. Well, this is very exciting. The whole idea of a memorial garden, and I'm sure we can do it in the cemeteries where we don't have burial space available. If someone has a relative or something that was buried in, say,
New North is full.
in where?
New North Cemetery is completely full, so.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I'm sure we could find an area to do that. And if someone had a relative who was buried in that cemetery, that might be something. Well, good. We'll discuss this further at our July meeting. And yeah, I think this opens up a whole other possibility of cemeteries and the work that cemeteries do, or the role that cemeteries play, I guess is a better word to do it. So good. All right. So memorial area for ashes. Rob?
Sure. There was one other idea that was kicked around a bit ago, and I don't know how far it's gone, but there may be some interested captains here on island that may consider being listed possibly on a town website as a possible option for burials at sea. And I'm talking about ashes in a container that would break down over time.
Right.
And they could essentially take them out, take the family out on the ocean, and place the biodegradable urn with the ashes in the ocean. It's something that could be considered, and that's even something that's possibly something that the town could contract for, and then have a pricing schedule for people to have the option. Because in the end, once again, it's about memorialization. And if people are interested in memorializing their loved one, keeping track of those burials at sea would be really what they're ultimately paying for.
Right.
And besides the service, et cetera. And that could be tracked and listed right along with the scattered ashes, et cetera, as part of our record keeping and web page memorializations.
Great idea. I know that there have been several, I attended, I think 2 of them, this was years ago, where the ashes were put on some sort of a boat or something. And I believe they how did they do it? They lit it on fire and then set it off with, I think it had a sail or something. It was, I know. And then of course, they're the ones where they just simply scatter the ashes on the shore, or, not in the water, and then usually rose petals or something like that. So those are all great ideas. And I think that the whole concept of memorialization, which is really what cemeteries are all about, is, that's what we do. We memorialize them. And yes, there might be, I'm sure will be some people who would want to have a space, a stone in the ground, and that sort of thing. Well, good. I think we've opened up a whole range of different possibilities for memorialization here on Nantucket, and we'll pursue this at our next meeting in July. Any other ideas or suggestions while we're on this topic? No, well, this has been good, and I'm glad we have Lee taking minutes, so I don't have to remember, with my notes here. So, great. Okay, is there anything else then on green burials or? Oh, yeah. One other thing, we talked last month about a plot for the cremains in the town clerk's office. There are 5 sets of cremains and so on. And the suggestion at our last meeting was that we could pick one of the lots at Pulpus and designate those as sort of a what do we call it? A paupers. Anyway, for those remains. Of those remains, 4 out of the 5 are identified. We have a name that goes with them. We don't have any other information. Remember, this is down from, I think Catherine initially had close to 40 of these unclaimed ashes, boxes of ashes in her storeroom. And now Nancy is down to just 5 of them. So I spoke with Nancy after our last meeting. I told her we were considering space and I would let her know what we've decided. Yes, Lee?
Various synonyms: Pottersfield, Pauper's Burial Ground.
Right.
But it was suggested that since we don't know, we'll simply call them unclaimed or abandoned.
Yeah. Or maybe we can think of some nice term that we can use to refer to that section. Again, we're just talking about 5 sets of ashes to go in the ground. Okay. So there's no urgency, according to Nancy. She said they've been here. The oldest remains go back to 1939. And I'm not sure if those are named ones or not named ones, but every effort has been made to contact any possible family or relations or whatever. Catherine did much of that work herself before she died. And so anyway, let's consider that.
Alan, do you need a motion to move forward with a lot in Pulpus?
Well,
it doesn't have to happen, but it gives the town the authority.
Right. Okay. I guess, yeah. All right. Let's do that. We can designate. In fact, perhaps we don't even have to designate a specific lot at this point, but just the idea of that, yes, we will find a place to for those ashes to be inurned or whatever. Yes, Fran?
Talking about the fact that there are 5. And the way Pulpus works is that it's 4 to the plot. So we were talking about having 2 contiguous plots. And I think there's wisdom to that because that leaves some space for the future in case somebody else ends up in that unfortunate situation.
Right. You remember we did have a case of that early on. This was back, must have been 8 or 9, 10 years ago, where someone had died. They didn't have a burial plot, and their friends came to us, the cemetery commission, and we discussed it at that point. And the friends took it upon themselves to, they found a location and did whatever they did with the ashes there. So that's a good point. All right, so I would entertain then a motion to designate 2 plots at Pulpus Cemetery, the only space we have available at the moment.
Alan, let's consider that I made the motion to designate Pulpus as a place for these remains, and that up to 2 plots would be so designated.
Great, okay. So we have a motion. Is there a second to Lee's motion? Okay, Fran, great. So we have a motion and a second to designate 2 plots at Pulpus. And we can choose. I have a couple of plots in mind, but we'll discuss that further. And I will then reach out to Nancy, the town clerk, and let her know that we have designated a spot for those remains, for the boxes of ashes that she's got there. And Barbara?
I think we should note that Scotty and Neil Patterson have offered to engrave those for us.
Yes. Right. And that will be another decision, because we do have, in our regulations about sizes of stones and so on. In this case, we can figure out how to apportion those. So great.
We need a vote.
Oh, that's right. Thank you, Lee. So we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on the motion? Seeing none, do a roll call. Lee?
Aye.
Aye. Fran?
Aye.
And Barbara?
Aye.
And chair votes aye as well. So I will convey that then to the town clerk and let her know that we do have a space where we'll put those. Okay. Cemetery surveys update. Scotty couldn't join us today. Rob? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm just looking up, searching my emails. We had lots going on back in April into May with our surveyor looking into doing the surveys at the as sort of the preamble background work for the Memorial Stone assessment project. And I know everyone is beyond busy right now. I was just checking my emails because I have hundreds that are yet to go through. And I do not see an update from our surveyor on this particular project. And so I will reach back out to him right now as a follow-up. I've been doing this after each meeting just to really check in and see what's going on, but I know they've been quite busy.
Right.
So I don't have anything to offer on that, other than the contract for the cemetery stone assessment work expected to take place later this fall. That contract has been approved by the select board and signed by the town manager. That is off and running, and they are setting up a schedule to do that work now. So that'll be later this fall. But obviously, we really want to predicate that on having the survey work done beforehand.
Good. Well, thank you. Okay, I think we've covered a lot of ground here. The projects list is there. Good. Okay, is there anything else to come before the commission this afternoon? Any other issues, any other whatevers? Oh, good. I'm sorry about the all the confusion as far as getting underway at the beginning of the meeting here. And maybe once we can meet in person, we won't have to sign in, but
Alan,
anyway. Yes, Barbara?
just want to, as a point of information, I will not be at the 14th because that's the day we're going off island.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So Barbara,
Mhm.
it's a very important day for France
I know.
and for Lee.
Oh, really? For Lee?
Yeah,
Is it your birthday?
c'est mon jour de naissance.
Ah, happy birthday. Oh, in
I have
advance.
to bow out, everyone. Thank you very much. I look forward to joining you next month.
Thank you, Rob.
Thank
All
you,
right,
Rob.
Have a great night.
Great. All right, I declare that we're at the end of our agenda and the meeting is adjourned.
Thank you, Alan. Thank you all.
Yeah. Thank you. See you, Vanessa. Nice to see you.
Bye. Nice to see you too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Goodbye, Alan.